Hello everyone and welcome to this week's behind the scenes devlog video, and this week I'm going to be working on a hunting system. So first up today I needed to do a bit of debugging because there was some strange stuff going on with the boar's eating behaviour, and in order to do that I made some changes to the terrain shader code to allow me to see the grid squares in the world if I wanted to, because the world is split up into grid squares and they play a big part in many of the animals' behaviours. So I did that and I found out that the problem was to do with how the fruit falls off the trees. Sometimes the fruit falls into another grid square and it doesn't update its position in the grid, and that was just confusing the boards a bit, so that's all fixed now. For the rest of the morning I've been planning out the big update that I'm going to be working on this week, which is basically a combat system which is going to be important for the behaviours of many of the animals, especially the predators. Of course, when they go hunting they're going to need to attack their prey, and it's also going to be useful for things like bees, stinging animals, and I also thought that animals like stags could sometimes fight amongst themselves. So I've planned that out. I'm going to have some lunch now, and then this afternoon I'll get started with implementing it. It is 4 o'clock now and I've been working on setting up the basics of the combat system for a couple of hours now, and I just started work on some of the specifics of the hunting behaviour, which I've been testing out on the fox here. It's all very simple at the moment. Basically every now and again the fox will choose a random nearby sheep as a target, and then it will chase after that sheep until it catches it, and then nothing happens yet. Just been doing a bit more work on the hunting, and I've implemented a very basic pack hunting behaviour. So if one of the foxes decides to go hunting, it can now notify all of the other foxes and they'll go together in a pack. And I think this will look pretty cool once I've got the target actually running away. Just stopping for a bit of dinner now. I made some simple flatbread and a salad to go with it. And to finish off the day, I implemented the fleeing behaviour for the sheep, so you can see that when the fox goes hunting, all of the sheep try to run away from it. And this sheep in particular has a rather interesting tactic for escaping the fox. (10:07) on Tuesday morning, and today I'm going to be working on allowing the foxes to attack the sheep. But before I get started with that, I'm going to go for a nice morning run in the sun. So, bit of a problem at the moment. The electricity is off in the whole flat, and I think in the whole building as well. They're doing some rewiring on the road outside, so I guess that's probably the problem. But it's been off for about half an hour, so I'm just going to go to the shops now because I can't really do anything else. And I'm going to go and buy some new plants. Back from the shop now, and the electricity still isn't on, so while I'm waiting I'm going to plant these new flowers on the balcony. So, still no electricity. I've missed almost a whole morning of work now, which is a bit annoying. I'm just having some lunch now, and worst of all, I can't watch the new episode of Better Call Saul. 2:50, and as you can see, the electricity is finally back on, so I'm going to get back to work now on the combat system. So at the moment I'm working on a damage effect for the animals, and what I want to happen is that when they get hurt they flash red to indicate that they've been damaged. So I've just been making some changes to the shader code to allow for a tint colour, which I can set to make the animal appear a different colour, and I've just been testing that out in the game. At the moment I've just made it so that whenever I mouse over a sheep it appears red, just to test out this system. Next up today I've been working on this class here, which makes it very easy to manipulate the tint colour and the alpha value of that colour. So for example, when I mouse over an entity now, I can very easily make the tint colour flash, and I can choose the colour of the flash, the intensity of the flash, and also how quickly it's flashing, so that will look something like this. Also, I could make the tint color pulse once, which is what I'm going to use for when the sheep get damaged. And I could also just turn on the tint color so that it's constantly on, and I can choose how quickly it turns on here. To finish up the day today, I've just hooked up the new damage effect with the hunting behaviour, so you can see that when the fox reaches the sheep, it now attacks the sheep, which causes the damage effect to show, and it has actually caused damage to the sheep. So you can see here that the damage is now 40% on this sheep, and if it gets too high, the sheep will obviously die. Back to work on the fighting system now on this very warm Wednesday morning, and so far today I've just been introducing the concept of attack and defense stats, so I can now set how strong the various animals are. So for example, if we have a look at the fox here, you can see that the fox has 100 defense, and every time it attacks it does 25 damage. Next up today, I've been making some improvements to the hunting AI, so the fox will now continuously chase and attack its prey until the prey is dead. So you can see it attacking this sheep multiple times here until the sheep runs out of health and dies. Next up today, I've been working on allowing for the animals to fight back and actually engage in combat. So when this goat gets attacked, it will try and defend itself, and you can see these two animals are now locked in an epic battle, and on this occasion the goat has won. So I'm going to take a quick break now and plant the remaining flowers on the balcony. Just made one more update to the hunting system this morning, which is that if the prey manages to outrun the predator for long enough, the predator will just eventually give up. So I've just been genetically modifying these sheep here to have rather high speed traits so that they're a lot faster. So you can see here that when the fox chases them, they can actually outrun the fox, and so eventually the fox will just give up. This afternoon, all I've been doing is working on this week's OpenGL tutorial, which is going to be about lens flare, but I'm going to stop now. I'm going to go for a run and then do some cooking. So it's getting late now, I'm going to get to bed in a bit, and this evening I've just been doing a bit of editing for this week's Devlog video, and I've also just been answering a few emails and comments. Good morning everyone, it is a very hot and sunny Thursday morning, and the first thing that I'm working on today is that when the foxes have killed the sheep, I want them to be able to consume the corpse. 10 o'clock, and I've just been implementing a drop mechanic for the sheep so that when they die during a hunt, they drop some meat, as you can see here. And then the next thing that I'm going to work on is I want the foxes to be able to take that meat back to their area and then eat the meat all together. So I've just been doing a bit more work on this, and now when the sheep dies and drops its meat, the fox, as you can see, comes back for the meat and it picks it up using the equip components that I created a couple of weeks ago, you might remember, with the beavers, and it then takes the meat back to its kind of home area and drops it off there so that all of the other foxes that live there can eat some. And that's what I'll be implementing next, but for now I need to have an early lunch because this afternoon I'm going off to play tennis. I've actually started playing tennis once a week for an hour every Thursday, so I'll get back to work when I'm back from that. Back from tennis now, and I've just been working on allowing the foxes to eat the meat. So when the foxes are hungry, they go hunting, obviously kill an animal and get the meat from it, and then they bring that meat back to their home area and drop it off, and then that meat can be eaten by multiple foxes. So all of the foxes can feast on this meat, and the meat will last a certain number of eatings, and then after it's been eaten that many times, it disappears from the world. So the meat from one sheep will be able to feed quite a few foxes for a while. To finish off for the afternoon, I've just created multiple model stages for the meat, so that in-game, when the meat is getting eaten, you can see how much of it is left. So as the foxes eat it, obviously it gets smaller and smaller until there's none left. Good morning everyone, it is 8 o'clock on Friday morning. I've just made myself some banana pancakes for breakfast, and today I'm just going to be doing the editing for this week's behind the scenes devlog video, and then tomorrow I'm going to be working on the tutorial. So for Equilinox this week, that is going to be it. Next week I'm going to be continuing on with the attack system. I've still got loads of loose ends to finish up, and I've got to make it all look a little bit nicer. But for this week, that is going to be it. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching this video. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you all next time.